Not too long ago, I posted a video about targeted individuals. You should check that out first if you haven't watched it, but to sum up, targeted individuals are a community of people who believe they are constantly being harassed and gang-stalked by the government. They believe this harassment takes place through technology that makes them hear voices in their heads, along with feeling strange sensations throughout their bodies. As you would expect, the video concluded that the most likely scenario was that these people were just mentally ill. Still, however, there were some people claiming that this needs to be looked into further with an open mind in order to find out if there's any truth to these people's claims. Although doubtful, I did try my best to look further into it with as much of an open mind as possible. My main intention for this video is to take a closer look into the life of a specific targeted individual to obtain a greater understanding of their point of view in hopes that other people suffering from mental illness can get the help they need. There is a particular targeted individual on the web that has created a lot of YouTube videos documenting their experiences throughout the years with this. This is the YouTube channel we will be looking into today. For obvious reasons, I'm going to be censoring any identifying information from this person. This particular person began making YouTube videos a little less than 2 years ago. At first, it started out fairly normal, with them just posting vlogs. Less than a year into the making of their channel, they created their first video talking about targeted individuals, identifying themselves as one of them.
I'm going to be doing a segment about targeted individuals. I'm doing a segment because of myself personally being targeted by being a targeted individual.
Since then, their channel has become all about targeted individuals. This person makes a large variety of these types of videos, ranging from theories they have about how the harassment of targeted individuals works,
and they're using brain-to-brain interface, so they're sending somebody else's brainwaves into a human being's mind, and then
to their own experiences of being a targeted individual. Their personal experiences range from hearing voices in their head.
It was those who were feeding voices into my head. That was probably what was likely the reason for it. I don't speak to myself out loud. I think in my head, and I get responses, and they actually comment on things that I do.
Feeling as if their actions are being controlled by someone else.
They've been able to control my body. Now I've had an experience where they were able to move me from one location to another.
And believing that they may have had a chip inserted into their body.
I had it mainly in my back. As I mentioned before, I feel like if I do have a chip in my body, it would be in my back.
Furthermore, they also believe that they are a target of gang stalking, and have several videos uploaded detailing several instances in which they believe they were being gang stalked.
This drunk guy tried to hit me in my face. Now, he didn't seem to be genuinely drunk, he seemed to be acting and pretending to be drunk. But he did actually hit me in my face, and it was after a lot of struggle with him. He was trying to hit me in my face and I was struggling with him to try and move his hands away, but he was like doing like this all the time. But which isn't even a natural move that you would make. And this is when I was sitting on the train, and I think there was a few people also on the train who were involved in it. They smiled, some people were smiling at what happened. I also had an incident on the bus. A guy behind me kept kicking my chair, and then it was a weird incident where there were people on the bus who seemed to be like chanting. It was really weird. I wish I had my camera out, but
Now, we have no idea of the accuracy of what is being said, since we're only hearing the anecdote, and not actually seeing what happened. So right here, we have what seems to be a classic targeted individual. They hear voices in their head, claim to be gang-stalked, and suffer from other forms of alleged electronic harassment. As stated in my last targeted individual video, this also seems like a classic paranoid schizophrenic. Now, for the sake of keeping an open mind here, the least I can do is take a look at some of the evidence they have presented on their channel. The majority of their proof relies off a device they made by removing the antenna on a radio and replacing it with a copper wire. According to them, this should make the copper wire move around when it comes into contact with any frequencies. By doing this, they hold the device around their body as some type of proof that the government is sending out frequencies to affect their brain. This isn't convincing for a few reasons. 1. We have no idea how accurate this device actually is. 2. There are radio frequencies all around us all the time, and most obviously, they're holding and moving this device around by hand. They obviously can't keep a completely steady hand, so it's only obvious the copper wire is going to be moving around simply because they're moving their hands too much. This just isn't reliable. So now let's take a look at some of the reasons of why this person might just be mentally ill instead of being a targeted individual. Not surprisingly, there's a lot more evidence on this channel that hints at mental illness than anything else. In one of their videos, they mention that they are getting their blood tested because they are experiencing heat running throughout their body, which they also claim as a symptom of psychosis.
I've been having certain experiences like a heat running through my body. I heard this is very common with people who have experienced symptoms that you would experience when you're going through psychosis. So I'm going to go and get my blood tested because I didn't know what could be the cause of this.
If that isn't enough, they also made a video where they said they began taking medication in 2013, and all of their symptoms went away. No more voices, no more being gang-stalked, and no more electronic harassment. Then, in 2017, after stopping the medication, all their symptoms came back.
So it happened in 2013, and started taking medication to overcome some of my symptoms, and it went away. And then it came back again last year, at the start of last year. I believe it was in March 2017.
This really should undoubtedly prove that what they are experiencing is the result of a mental illness if medication was able to make it all stop. And they actually do address this. We'll get into that a little bit later. The final piece of evidence toward this being mental illness is just the person's behavior in general. It would be hard to actually demonstrate this without uncensoring their identity, but in a lot of their videos, their behavior just seems off. They'll talk very quickly, stutter and stumble on words, and also seem to be very illiterate at times. This alone doesn't prove that someone has a mental illness, but I decided to look into this further and looked at some of their older videos that were posted in 2016, since that would fit the time frame of when they were on medication. Maybe this is just me being biased, but I can definitely see an improvement in their behavior in these videos. And sure enough, their very first video in 2017, the year they went off their medication, was a video mentioning targeted individuals. It should be pretty clear what's going on at this point. Now, they've actually made videos before addressing the topic of schizophrenia. They have a really interesting view on this. They believe that their schizophrenia symptoms are being caused by the government to force them to start taking medication. Why would the government want them on medication? Well, according to them, it's because the medication would calcify their pineal gland, thus limiting their spiritual growth.
But I believe that the reason why they do that is to stop, a lot of you mentioned that it calcifies the pineal glands, but I think that's the point of why they harass us until we take medication in order to stop our pineal, to get us to calcify our pineal glands.
In later videos, they even go on to acknowledge they do indeed have schizophrenia, but they say that we don't fully understand how schizophrenia is caused. Their theory is that schizophrenia is caused by people with higher levels of thought being targeted.
Schizophrenia, there's no conclusion as to what causes people to be schizophrenic. So, as I explained to you just before, that is my understanding of what causes it. So they target those people who express high levels of thought, or their frequency goes to a high level, which interrupts covert communications.
Obviously, I don't believe this at all. There are plenty of mental illnesses that exist that we still don't fully understand the cause of. The brain is such a complex organ that it's hard to fully understand everything it is capable of. But this doesn't mean that every illness we don't understand is caused by some conspiracy theory like this. That would be absurd. So, after looking at this whole thing as open-mindedly as I possibly could, there still isn't any convincing evidence to suggest that targeted individuals actually exist. Obviously, just because this one person is mentally ill, doesn't necessarily mean that everyone claiming to be a targeted individual is mentally ill, but it sure does not help their case. Especially when you observe that a lot of other targeted individuals really aren't all that different from this person. This video is in no way meant to attack this person or anyone else. It's just to show that supporting this belief of targeted individuals could potentially be damaging. These people aren't stupid or any less of a person than we are, they just need help, and I really hope that they get it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.